Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Pooja Bansal, and after so many days I am putting this video. Actually, I have been requested to make videos on fetal skull and pelvis. So here I am with fetal skull. As you can see, fetal skull consists of three parts: face, vault and base. Face extends between the orbital ridges to the floor of mouth, and it consists of 14 bones. Next is vault. Vault is also called as roof. It extends between the supraorbital ridges to the nape of neck. And base is also called as cranium. Let's discuss about sutures. What are sutures? Sutures are non-ossified membrane present between the flat bones of fetal skull. We will discuss about four sutures. First one is frontal suture, also called as metopic suture, present between the two frontal bones. Second is coronal suture, present between the frontal and the parietal bone. Third is sagittal suture, present between the two parietal bones. And fourth is lambdoid suture, present between the two parietal and occipital bone. Then what are fontanelles? These are wide spaces covered by the membrane situated at the meeting places of suture. There are 6 in number, but 2 are of obstetric significance. As you can see, this is anterior fontanelle, also called as bregma. This is of diamond shape, measuring 3 into 3 centimeter, present at the junction of frontal, 2 coronal and 1 sagittal suture, and it closes at 1.5 years of age. Second one is posterior fontanelle, also called as lambda. It is of triangular shape and measure about 1.5 into 1.5 centimeter, present at the junction of sagittal and lambdoid suture, and it closes at term gestation. Then what is the importance of fontanelles? On palpating the anterior fontanelle, it will tell us about the degree of flexion of the head. For example, if the head is well flexed, then anterior fontanelle will not be palpable, and in deflex attitude, anterior fontanelle is palpable. Posterior fontanelle palpation will determine the position of the head. Fontanelles and suture facilitates molding. They will tell about the intracranial status. For example, in hydrocephalus, these sutures are wide and fontanelle is raised, and in dehydration status, they are depressed. Then let's discuss about some region of the skull. First, we will discuss about brow, also called as sinciput. It extends from the anterior fontanelle and coronal suture to the supraorbital ridges and root of nose, also called as glabella. Then what is vertex? It is a quadrangular area anteriorly bounded by anterior fontanelle and coronal suture, laterally by the line through parietal eminences, and posteriorly bounded by posterior fontanelle and lambdoid suture. Then third is occiput. It extends between the posterior fontanelle and foramen magnum. Let's discuss about some definitions. What is lie? Lie is relation of long axis of fetus to the maternal spine. Most common lie is longitudinal, that is 99.5%, and transverse lie and oblique lie. What is attitude? It is relation of different part of fetus with one another. It can be flexion or extension. Then what is presentation? The part of the fetus occupying the lower segment of the uterus is presentation. Most common is cephalic presentation, that is 96.5%. Second is breech, 3%, and third is shoulder and other, that is 0.5%. What is presenting part? The part of presentation overlies the internal os on PV examination. For example, there can be vertex presentation in cephalic, brow, and can be face presentation. What is denominator? It is the arbitrary chosen bony prominence of presenting part used to determine the position. For example, in vertex, occiput is considered to be denominator. In face, mentum. In brow, frontal eminence. And in breech, sacrum, and in shoulder, acromion process. What is position? Position is relation of the denominator to the quadrant of the pelvis. For example, occipito anterior. In this, occiput lies to the anterior, occiput lies behind the pubic symphysis, and right occipito anterior, occiput lies to the in the anterior and right side of the pelvis, and left occipito anterior. These three are the anterior position, and there three are the posterior, that is right occipito posterior, occiput lies behind the in front of the sacrum, and left occipito posterior. And most common is the left occipito transverse position, in which the occiput lies to the in the transverse diameter, and right occipito transverse position. Let's discuss about the diameters. Anterior, posterior and longitudinal diameters. These are 6 in number. If we discuss about the complete flexion attitude, in this diameter of engagement will be suboccipitobregmatic, means a point just below the occipital protuberance to the center of the anterior fontanelle or bregma, measuring 9.5 centimeter. Presentation will be vertex. In incomplete flexion, engaging diameter will be suboccipitofrontal, means point just below the occipital protuberance to the anterior of the anterior fontanelle, measuring 10 centimeter with the vertex presentation. In the deflexed head, engaging diameter will be occipitofrontal. It will extend from the occipital protuberance to the root of the nose, also called as glabella, measuring 11.5 centimeter with the presentation vertex. Then, if we discuss about partial extension attitude, then engaging diameter will be mento-vertical, which extend from the midpoint of the chin to the furthest point on the vertex, measuring about 14 centimeter, largest AP diameter, and presentation will be brow or sinciput. And generally cesarean section is done in this condition. And then incomplete extension, engaging diameter will be submento-vertical, means it extends from the junction of the floor of the mouth and neck to the highest point on the sagittal suture, measuring 11.5 centimeter with the face presentation. In complete extension attitude, engaging diameter will be submento-bregmatic. It extends from the junction of floor of mouth and neck to the center of the anterior fontanelle, measuring about 9.5 centimeter with the face presentation. In this, we can remember mento-vertical as MV, that is movie, and movie is largest, that is 14 centimeter, and we used to see movie or picture with our brother like bro, we can call it as bro. So movie is 14 centimeter with bro presentation. Then we will discuss about the transverse diameter. These are 4 in number. First is biparietal diameter. This is the transverse engaging diameter. It is the distance between the two parietal eminences, measuring about 9.5 centimeter. And second is super subparietal diameter. It extends from a point below one parietal eminence to the point above the opposite parietal eminence, measuring about 8.5 centimeter. And in acentalism condition, this is the smallest transverse diameter which is engaged. Bitemporal diameter extends from the anterior inferior end of one coronal suture to the other, measuring about 8 centimeter and is of no obstetric importance. And bias mastoid diameter is the distance between the two mastoid processes. It is 7.5 centimeter and it is the smallest diameter which is incompressible and important in destructive operations. So if question is asked that what are the diameters which measures about 9.5 centimeters, these are suboccipitobregmatic, submentobregmatic and biparietal diameter, consist of B as common. Then what is molding? Molding is basically alteration in the forecoming fetal head while passing through the resistant birth canal, and it usually disappears after the birth. What is the mechanism of molding? It usually compresses the engaging diameter and it will lead to increase in the diameter perpendicular to it. And let's discuss about the grading of the molding. As you can see in the right side of the picture, grade 0 is bone is separated and suture can be felt, and grade 1 is bones just touch each other. Grade 2 is bones are overlapping, but if you touch the molding, it will lead to separation of the bones. And grade 3 plus molding is bones overlap but separation is not possible, and it is pathological. And this is my last topic. We will discuss about the difference between caput succinidum and Käfele hematoma. As you can see in the right side of the picture, caput is present between the skin and aponeurosis, and Käfele hematoma is present below the periosteum of the fetal skull. So caput succinidum is present at birth on normal vaginal delivery, and Käfele hematoma appears within a few days after birth on normal or maybe forceps delivery. Caput maybe lie on sutures and is not well defined, but Käfele hematoma is well defined by the sutures. Caput soft and pits on pressure. Käfele hematoma doesn't pit on pressure. And caput usually accompanied with the skin changes, that is ecchymosis, and there is no skin changes in Käfele hematoma. Caput gradually subsides within a day, and Käfele hematoma usually disappear within 6 to 8 weeks. There is no underlying bone fracture with caput. There can be maybe underlying skull bone fracture in Käfele hematoma, and no treatment is required both for caput and Käfele hematoma. So this was my lecture on fetal skull, and if you like my video, please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so you can get the notification of my recent lectures. Thank you.